All right, let's just jump right into this. We're going to start with one of the most brilliant and honestly misunderstood minds in all of history, Nikola Tesla. Now, this was a guy who was absolutely convinced he'd figured out a fundamental secret of our universe. A secret so big that pretty much everyone around him just, well, they weren't ready for it.
And this quote right here, this is the key to the whole thing. Tesla was saying, hey, if you really want to get what reality is all about, you've got to look past what you can see and touch. You have to look into this invisible, humming world of vibrations. You know, back then, people thought he was kind of nuts. But was he really that far off?
So what was it? What did he get that no one else did? What is this forgotten secret? To figure it out, we've got to follow his trail of breadcrumbs, and it starts with what modern science is, believe it or not, only just now starting to catch up with.
To find the answer, we need to zoom in, and I mean way, way in. Forget what our eyes can see. We're going to the very building blocks of reality itself.
Okay, so it all starts with something we learned back in science class, right? Everything around you, the chair you're sitting on, the stars in the sky, even you, it's all made of atoms. Simple enough?
But let's go deeper. Let's say you could just crack open one of those atoms. You go past the electrons, past the protons, and you find even smaller, more fundamental little bits of stuff. And we call these quarks.
And this is where things get really wild. Modern physics is now suggesting that if you could look even closer, you'd find that reality isn't really solid at all. At its very core, everything is just made of these unimaginably tiny, vibrating strands of pure energy.
Now get this. The idea behind what's called string theory is that the unique vibration, the specific little song these strings are playing, is what makes everything what it is. A certain frequency makes a tree, a different one makes water. This is exactly what Tesla was talking about. He was saying frequency and vibration aren't just ideas, they're the architects of everything we see. And if that vibration stops, the physical thing, poof, just dissolves.
So if everything is just vibrating energy, Tesla's genius was in asking the next big question: can we influence these vibrations? He thought so. He was convinced that our own minds, our thoughts and feelings, also have a frequency. And that idea, well, it's the foundation of a very powerful concept you've probably heard of called the law of attraction. The basic idea here is that your thoughts, your feelings, your actions, they all create your own personal energy frequency. And as you can see, it's pretty straightforward. If your frequency is positive, filled with good deeds and peace, you attract more of that: success, blessings, positive people. But if it's negative, if it's driven by destructive habits, you attract hardship and negativity. It's that simple. Like attracts like.
But you know, this whole like attracts like thing isn't some new self-help fad. It is a deep spiritual law that's been understood for centuries in many traditions. And in Islamic theology, there's actually a powerful word for the core belief that sets our personal frequency, and it really gets to the heart of all this.
And this, wow, this just lays it all out, doesn't it? This is a sacred hadith, a direct statement from God, and it tells us that the divine responds to us based on our deepest beliefs and assumptions about Him. Basically, what you expect to find is exactly what you'll get. So this powerful idea has a name: Gumen. It's your deepest, core assumption about everything. Think of it as the engine that drives the law of attraction. Your Gumen is what sets your personal frequency. And whatever you truly believe, right down in your bones, that's what you are empowering to become your reality. And you know what? We see proof of this principle popping up everywhere. There's the strongman Eddie Hall, who lifted an impossible 500 kilograms by tricking his mind into believing his family was trapped underneath it. You've got best-selling books like The Secret, built on this very idea. Even famous movie lines echo this exact same truth.
Okay, so this is all fascinating, right? But here's the most important question. If this power is real, if our belief actually shapes our world, how do we use it? How do we actually start creating a positive life on purpose?
Well, it seems to be a four-step process. First, you need a clear goal. The universe likes specifics. Second, you have to build that rock-solid belief, that powerful G-mon, that it's absolutely possible. That's what sets your frequency. Third, you've got to raise your spiritual vibration by aligning your actions with that belief. And finally, you take action with faith. You move forward, signaling that you are ready to receive.
So how do you actually raise that vibration? Well, it turns out spiritual practices are the most powerful tools there are. Things like prayer, reading sacred texts, doing good for others, remembrance of God, just being grateful, these aren't just empty rituals. They are powerful activities that literally tune your personal frequency to a higher, more positive state. And all of this, it points to the highest frequency you can possibly imagine, the divine command itself. The Quran says that when God simply says be or kun, the thing just is. It comes into existence from absolutely nothing. I mean, that is the ultimate example of intention and energy creating reality in a split second.
And so this leaves us with one final really important question to think about. If Tesla was right, if our deepest beliefs are constantly building our world around us, what reality are your own thoughts, your own assumptions, your own gut man creating for you right here, right now?